companies because they counted every subscriber as a $2,000 asset. You have to see what's going on, and if you don't see what's going on, you're going to have a bird bath in your backyard, and you better wake up and smell what's going on. There's a rat here. It's GI, and it's SPCA, and it's the people that obviously do not care about you. We do, Charlie did, and other people do, and you have to involve yourself. KSAT cares. These people care, and you have to support them. Speaking of support, a lot of you were kind enough to send, well, at least call in on Thursday night, and we told you about the plight of Karen. Karen was involved with this lawsuit that I'm involved with Bob Cooper, whereby GI and HBO and Showtime have elected to sue us because they don't like me telling you about the broken video cipher. They don't like Bob Cooper running a seminar telling people how to break the video cipher. Well, these things I think are legal. GI felt they're not legal, but GI has lawyers. We don't have lawyers. GI has money. In this country, in your country, you can be found guilty and be at financial peril for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, just because you can't afford an attorney. You know, I don't have the right to go and ask for an attorney and lay down in the court and say, I don't have any money for an attorney. In civil matters, you don't have that right. In this matter, you have to have an attorney or you lose. We already found we could lose $340,000 by not having an attorney, so we've managed to find one. But now Karen, they've separated Karen out of the case and tried to try her separately so that they know she doesn't have any money for an attorney. The only way that Karen's going to get defended is if you defend her. What did Karen do? Karen told you the truth about the video cipher. She reported that the video cipher is broken. GI doesn't want anybody to know it because if you know it, the programmer is going to know it. And if the programmer knows the video cipher is broken, then he's not going to use the video cipher as an encryption technology and do something else. That's the nut and bolt of the lawsuit. Recognize it, and recognize that Karen needs your help. You're not asked to help a lot. You're asked to help every now and again. Karen needs your help. If you have any extra funding, you can send to her for her lawyer. You can send it in care of us here at Network Production. Send it to Karen Howes, LDF, or you can use a Visa MasterCard. But her case is tried on May 9th, and if she doesn't have a lawyer, she will not be able to defend herself, and she will be found guilty for doing nothing more than telling you the truth about the video cipher and what it really is. Remember that. GI has the bucks, and you and I don't. But together, we can put two quarters together and beat this thing. Thank you. Yeah, 2 quarters. Well, there has been a lot of telephone calls in here about those chips we showed you last week, about the U7 and U24 for $200 or $175. It appears that they may not be available. I don't know yet. We haven't heard anything more about it since Thursday, so we're going to have to wait till next Thursday to let you know. I want you to know there is a new video cipher coming. It's the O200 series. It will be epoxied, and it's surface mount. It's not VSLI, or I think that's it. It is the standard video cipher, but surface mount with very, very, very hard, heavy-duty epoxy. I'm sure you people will figure out a way to beat it. You always do. But be advised that you're going to see a new animal on the block. So, what else is new? Well, let's go ahead and show you a piece from a school that takes place, a one-day school that's a one-on-one classroom that goes on up in Canada that helps you understand better the video cipher.
Satellite dealers and video cipher resellers. Now you can get into doomsday technology for under $1,000 and never ever be turned off. vCipher Technologies, the originator of doomsday technology, are introducing an entry-level doomsday package, which includes the doomsday chip, which stores up to 9 codes for up to 4 months turn on at once. It can get the ZAP channels, cable video store, and is the only type of chip that can get all video cipher signals. The calculator chip, which calculates the authorization codes or working keys for any service ID, is also included. This chip calculates the needed codes and displays them on screen from any number, and so as long as any video cipher is still playing, it really can't be turned off. A protection calculating loader, which works for up to 4 months without updating, is also included for loading boxes when you first do them. You get the complete Doomsday system, a full printed explanation of how the system works, how to update the codes, and how to calculate your own codes, all for under $1,000. Your Doomsday system order placed today will be shipped Federal Express overnight tomorrow, and you will be up and running the following day. Get Doomsday Technologies from the source. Get it from vCipher Technologies at area code 514-451-5704. Call us anytime between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Visa and MasterCard are accepted. That's area code 514-451-5704. Number 2.
Well, it's not a school. However, that same company does run a one-day special one-on-one course. It is expensive, but as I understand it, it's been well appreciated by people that have attended. As you saw, he has a special thing that's available to you. Speaking of those types of things, there is, of course, the Wizard technology, which is the same as the Doomsday technology. A lot of people outside the country have elected to use this technology because it doesn't require you to have seed keys or an ID number or, in fact, to be authorized. You authorize your own box through the front keypad of your video cipher. It has to be done every 2 to 4 months, depending upon how often General Instruments changes the authorization of the particular program. You have to do it for one for each service ID. If you have an A5, you have to do it once. I think there are 28 numbers altogether you key in from the front panel. If you would like to get to some of the Telstar channels and some of the special pay-per-view, it does indeed work, as all the Three Musketeers does not. This seems to be the only product that does. And again, you would have to enter in 28 numbers, but once you've done so, you're now authorized. It is indeed the Doomsday for the General Instruments video cipher, because there is no way to turn these particular boxes off. It is the working key. It is the unit that doesn't care what GI is doing. It goes right to the heart of the system. Now, I don't know what GI is going to do about this, but I suspect after programmers really recognize what has happened, they're going to elect to want their money back from General Instruments. But as we all know, programmers are dumber than shit, and they probably won't do it for a while. So you can be content to realize that for the next year, you will have programming with the video ciphers, because programmers have a lot of shit up here. What else? We have seed key pullers. There are seed key pullers. There's John's Electronics. John's in Canada, British Columbia to be exact. He makes a seed key puller that allows you to pull seed keys out of an 0181 technology. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, you dealers want to pull seed keys out of 0181 to protect the board you have in the field, so that if for any reason there's a failure on a video cipher, you can indeed reload the seed keys back into a video cipher. Because the only thing that makes your video cipher different than from somebody else's is the seed keys contained in it. And so you can obviously make one video cipher look exactly like another once you put the seed keys in the other video cipher along with the identification number. Yes, you can use it for cloning. Hey, yes, you can, but cloning is illegal inside the U.S., but not if you live in the same household. Why should you be paying for HBO twice in the same household? You don't have to. I don't see any reason for it. You can just, they're saying things to me, and I have to go now. So stay tuned for a green sheet, and okay, I hear you. Calm down. I have a cheerleader back here. I've lost my train of thought, but it will come back. We have, what else we got? We got John's Electronics with keyboard type technology that allows you to pull video cipher. What? Oh yeah, CTS also does the exact same thing. They allow you to pull the C keys from an 0181 technology board, and you can, of course, use that in conjunction with other periphery to write it back to an 0181 board. You can clone. But remember, please, that these things are illegal inside the U.S. If you use a Wizard chip inside the U.S., it is illegal. You're breaking the law. Dealers are subject to $50,000 fine and 6 months in jail. Consumers are subject to a $1,000 fine, I believe, and I don't believe they're subject to any imprisonment. I know you're only watching television. I know no one could possibly go to jail for watching television when there are drug smugglers and there's murderers and child molesters. I know what you're saying. The truth is that Customs and the FBI do not recognize drug smugglers, child molesters, or murderers. They only recognize those of you that are breaking the video cipher, so be prepared to be visited by our legal eagles out there. And ask them why. Ask them, why are you bothering me for watching a movie? It's so crazy. This is the world we live in. The power of money. You're going to see it.
Thing. We still do have our 876-6121 800 number, so you can still call on that. Call tonight, call tomorrow, call during the weekend if you want to maybe catch us in to order, but usually we ask you to call to order between the hours of 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, regular business hours. The operators will be happy to help you. But you can call tonight. When you see a one-of-a-kind item, call as soon as possible because it goes like crazy. A lot of people out there watching the show right now, and they are looking for a particular receiver or a particular product that we are going to be putting on the show. We also do have can-order items, which we can drop ship to you, which we do drop ship from other locations. And it's just, we've got a good show tonight, and better things coming up in the weeks ahead because we've all been really working hard on this building, and it's given us some new life, as it were.
It was. Now remember, dealers and anyone out there that has product to sell, please call us and let us know because we will gladly sell it for you. We do take a 25% commission fee on anything we sell for you, and it's a great way to get rid of product that you may have in your store that you've done on trade-outs. We are having two special sections. Well, I guess they're not going to be on tonight because we don't have time, but we are going to include them in future shows. They are trade-ups. We will always do trade-ups. If you want to go to an IRD, if you're looking to do IRDs, although I personally think investing in a video cipher is a mistake, we will, of course, accommodate you and sell you a video cipher or take your old equipment in on trade and sell you or give you a new video cipher. And depending upon what you have to trade in for it will depend upon how much you have to pay for your new IRD. In some cases, people have gotten IRDs for nothing. Not very many, but there have been a few. Also, we're going to have a dealer section. There's going to be, at the end of the show, there's going to be 10 or 15 minutes of only dealer-related type products. So some of you can tune off at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time because we're going to have cable and fittings and special things that only dealers are going to be using and normal customers are not going to be using, and hard to find items because we find that we are able to accommodate you people out there. We are able to get the hard to find items in, and so why not give them to you?
Well, yeah, you're right, because the thing is, we are in an area, this part of the country, where a lot of the warehouses are here, and we've made a lot of connections the last couple of weeks. And last week on Boresight, Mike had a story about a particular dealer kind of a program that they're running. They have all sorts of things that you would need if you're working with.
Well, they're going to do certain things, and I think we're going to try to fill the bill with giving you the cables and the other things that they're not going to fulfill for you, because I believe there's a real need out there for dealers for certain products that are hard to get, particularly they're paying too much. Paying far too much for coaxial cable. Why should you be paying $60, $70 for coaxial cable? It's only $42 here on Green Sheet, and that's 1,000 feet in unireels. Okay.
That's right. Also, one other thing, remember when you call tonight, these are operators that are standing by. They're very courteous, and they're happy to take your order. You might get showing their eyes sometimes if we are around, but if you do, we are here tonight just to take orders. Please don't call. If you have a problem, 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. Our number, 800 number, take that down. The other number, also 707-1800, and we'll be happy to talk to you. I must apologize. I know on behalf of Sean and myself, GLR on top, we have been busy with the move. All last week we did the physical move, and now we're putting things together in the studio. This is just a makeshift studio we set up right now. If we haven't gotten back to a lot of you because you've called and everything, we're terribly sorry, but it's just been kind of crazy around here. Bear with us. As soon as we settle in a little bit more, we'll return your calls, or if you like, just give us a call again. Within a week's time, we should be settled by then. If not, I'm going out in the stream and swimming.
Here we have a really neat stream.
It's nice, you know. Yeah.
You
know what?
Peaceful.
There's even more tributaries and everything. It's the whole area. We're in the mountains right here, by the way. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a little.
We'll do a thing. All right,
we didn't get to it on Boresight this week, Sean, but we wanted to do.
Next week we're going to do the close of the old Boresight place, and now the old Boresight is gone, and now you have that new Boresight. Hopefully they can make money with it.
I think they can.
Okay, here we have a GLR 500.
First product up tonight.
First product up is a great product because so many of
Tonight on Boresight News, part 1 of a candid interview with Sean Kenny regarding the latest development in his legal battle. Karen Howe's in-depth look at superstations. A Boresight exclusive report on the recent VC hacker raid, plus an inside look at our new building. This is Boresight News, and now, Karen Howe's.
General Instruments is said to be beefing up enforcement of the security of the video cipher 2. The word circulating amongst copyright holders is that the California-based decoder manufacturer has 400 investigators in the field ready to beat piracy. Copyright holders have also been informed that GI is engaged in 25 lawsuits regarding satellite signal theft. Michael has more.
That's right, Karen. Boresight received reports that the offices of VC Hacker in Hot Springs, Arkansas were raided by FBI agents, General Instruments private investigators, and GI Security Chief Terrence Luddy. According to our sources, VC Hacker was contacted by phone and asked to modify about 200 video cipher boards. VC Hacker declined to do the modifications, but later agreed to install U30 sockets in 70 VC2 boards. On May 5th, VC Hacker met with 2 men who had hired him to install the sockets. They turned out to be private investigators. During this meeting, an FBI agent arrived with a search and seizure warrant. For 4 hours, 20 agents and investigators removed computer records, software, and hardware, leaving only the furniture. Although no formal charges have been filed, VC Hacker was left with a warrant alleging assorted violations of the U.S. Copyright Code. VC Hacker has hired an attorney specializing in patent and copyright law who considers the raid harassment and advises VC Hacker to continue with his day-to-day operation. VC Hacker reopened his doors on Monday, May 9th, only 4 days after the raid. According to a written statement sent exclusively to Boresight News, VC Hacker claims that no customer records were seized. According to the statement, VC Hacker uses a security system in its computers that is transparent when the computer is first turned on. That means that no directory, warning, or instructions will show up on the monitor. If the security system is not deactivated within seconds, the system automatically erases security-related information. It's reported that GI investigators, in their haste, turned on VC Hacker's computers, and while on the premises, they erased all pertinent information. VC Hacker's attorney will be in court tomorrow to ask for the return of VC Hacker's property. If that request is denied, the attorney will file suit on Monday. Boresight will have more exclusive information on this next week. Anti-piracy action continues north of the border. Karen reports on one Canadian's run-in with the law.
A theft of service case in British Columbia, Canada, has caused an automotive dealer to close his doors. He was selling cars in his showroom, and as a part-time pastime, modified VC2s were making it out the back door. John Mrazek of Bridgeport Imports in British Columbia was fined $500 for each of 4 counts of violating Canada's telecommunications law. Arresting Constable John Fisher told Boresight that it was not an easy case to try because Canada's telecommunication law is not specific. Fisher explained that since the modified VC2s unlocked Canada's own super channel, as well as other Canadian services, the boxes did indeed violate their law. In the past, pirates said that their devices were legal because it was not unlawful for Canadian dish owners to tap into U.S. scrambled signals. But now that Canada's super channel has selected video cipher as its encryption method, pirating devices also violate Canada's telecommunications law. Fisher said that the fine against Mrazek was low because the judge noted that he was a small businessman. In an earlier case in Toronto, a pirate was fined $10,000.
Will satellite piracy backfire on the TVRO industry? Warner Brothers recently announced that it will no longer allow its films be distributed to the home dish market through pay-per-view. We turn it back to Karen, who takes a look at piracy's effect on the pay-per-view window.
Piracy might meet its match in pay-per-view. If there's nothing to turn to, even a chip won't tune in a clear picture. Pay-per-view could be Hollywood's next gold mine, or it may lead the studios into financial ruin. That decision rests on the shoulders of the pirates. The studios claim that if the pay-per-view market isn't secure, an early release of a title by a satellite could cripple the film's success in other markets. Eric Frankel at Warner Brothers explained that when hotels in the Caribbean, Canada, and Mexico take down a satellite signal of a film without authorization, then that inhibits the studio's ability to sell that film through their other distribution networks. The picture industry says that the average movie costs $30 million to produce and market. Now, while some blockbusters see phenomenal returns, the average movie does not even break even. Frankel says that the motion picture industry is a risky one, and he says many studios are on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, president of the motion picture industry, Jack Valenti, tells us that there are no guarantees in the picture business, but if the risks are too high and the returns too low, less movies will be made.
You will find, if you look at the movie companies, that their command of the marketplace looks like this. Why? One year, E.T. is embraced by Universal, and they get 22% of the business. The next year, they have to subpoena people to the theater to see their pictures. They're so bad.
Studios hear statistics that at any given time, 25 to 250,000 home dish owners are watching programs without authorization. The figures don't come close to the 5 million homes stealing cable, but the percentage is higher. The reasoning coming out of Hollywood is if 50% of a market is getting the product for free, it's hardly worth serving that market at all. Barry Tiemann, the man behind First Run before it was sold to Cooper Wireless, says piracy could destroy the pay-per-view market.
The idea that it is not something that someone who is not being addressed can take out of the air and view, or in their case, use their product without it having a dollar return to them.
So that's why Warner has decided to pull its product from the home dish pay-per-view market. Or is it? First Run and Viewer's Choice are the only 2 pay-per-view services marketed to the home dish industry, and they can no longer distribute Warner's films. But other pay-per-view services, which also use satellites and which also use the video cipher encryption technique, can use Warner films. Chuck Dawson, president of KSAT, says modified boxes can access Warner movies through any service using the VC2 encryption technology. Who the pay-per-view networks sell to has nothing to do with it. But Frankel says Warner is sending out a message to the industry. He says, they're saying we don't like people stealing our movies, and if you think the programmers are tough, Frankel says the movie people really mean business. Those surveyed in the home dish industry agree that if Warner's action is followed by others, the home dish owner will suffer. Fred Finn, president of the Home Satellite Television Association, says piracy is a big problem, but he questions Warner's intent. Finn explained that a few years ago, Warner announced that it was not going to distribute its product to the home dish market. It said that it was a cable-only delivery service. Finn also said that if Warner is so concerned about theft, why single out satellite television? Theft in cable is much higher. Boresight phoned others to get their reaction. All were concerned over producers limiting access to the home dish owner, but the question raised by some was that if the scrambling system is not secure, Why are the programmers still selecting it? Michael?
When we return, part 1 of our in-depth interview with Sean Kenny. Stay tuned.
Announcing a special deal on Satellite TV Preview, a complete weekly satellite TV guide. Just mail us the cover of the guide you presently receive, and we'll give you a special deal of just $36 for a full year of Satellite TV Preview. That's $10 off the regular subscription price for Satellite TV Preview, a great guide. And all you have to do is send us a cover. And we'll send you Satellite TV Preview, the most complete weekly satellite TV guide. To get this special deal, just send your present guide cover with a $36 check or money order to 262 Old New Brunswick Road, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854. Visa MasterCard orders, call 800-876-6121. Call today to save $10.
Having your home wired for cable seems innocent enough, until you realize that you've given up control of your television set to an unregulated monopoly. Your local satellite dealer offers the alternative that can free you from the crushing grip of cable and allow you to regain control of your television set. A home satellite system. Support your local satellite dealer, the unsung hero of the video communications industry.
There's been an important development in the court case against Sean Kenny and Network Productions. We spoke to Sean at length about that. This is part of that interview. On Friday, May 6, Judge Thomas Scott issued a decision to deny your request to vacate the summary judgment against you. What does that mean?
Well, in effect, it means that GI and HBO and Showtime have a summary judgment. Without a dollar figure at this time, the judge is going to entertain different dollar amounts as presented to him by GI's and HBO's attorneys. But it means basically that we lost, but not as a result of a trial. We lost as a result of our inability to explain our case well enough before the judge in a relatively confined or constricted manner. The judge, when he originally served us with the judgment, he had, this was back in March, I guess, or February, he allowed us to, he vacated that judgment based on our answering this in a 10-page answer. So we had to answer, in effect, 700 pages of evidence, according to GI's attorneys, with 10 pages of testimony that says what they said in 700 pages isn't true, which we did. But unfortunately, GI then gets to answer our answers. So GI went ahead and answered our 10 pages of answers with another 50 or 75 pages of evidence that says what we say is not true, or what we say isn't valid because of this. What I think probably what the audience doesn't understand is what is a summary judgment, what does it mean, and how, in this land of ours, we believe that all men have to be tried by their peers. Well, that's not true. In a civil action, if the evidence presented to the court cannot be refuted or cannot be proven to have question, then the judge does not have to necessarily have a trial. He can just say, what has happened before and been tried before and heard before in other courts, and it could be very well his court as well, a precedent has been set, and therefore no evidence, nothing you can say will change what has already happened in other courts, because that would mean those decisions in other courts may not be valid. So that's exactly what happens. And so we don't have a trial. We have to fight with paper. But in this case, we had to fight with 10 pages versus 800 pages. So it was a situation that our lawyers, even though they weren't cheap, they weren't as good as GI's lawyers. So now we have a problem.
And GI got the last word because they in turn answered your answers.
Yes.
Now you don't have a chance to go back and dispute what they've said?
Not at all. Not at all. What this means to us now is we have to go before appeals courts. It's very bad for us, because appeals court means that we have to go out and hire an appeal lawyer, which is not a normal lawyer. They're special lawyers. All they do is write papers. Because again, in an appeals court, you don't go before a trial either. You go before 3 judges who evaluate the information before them and decide whether the judge in the lower court made a mistake. And if they feel the judge in the lower court made a mistake, then they have it retried. But you don't have tried in the appellate division. You have it tried elsewhere, I believe, as I understand it. So now we have to be the person that goes before the appeals court and follows the 800 pages that says what Judge Scott did in his court was not true. The evidence that was presented by GI was not accurate, and our defenses, although they may have been good, were not complete because we were restricted to a 10-page answer to 700 pages of evidence.
The burden of proof would be on you this time around.
It's very bad for us. In a way, it's good, but in a way, it's real bad. What's real bad about it is that the judge could level financial responsibility on us of hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's what GI is asking for. In actuality, it could be up to $500,000 because GI could ask for their legal fees, which could have totaled $200,000. So we have to fight that, and the only way to fight it is appeals, and appeals cost money. In other words, it's going to cost easily $20,000 for the appeals lawyer, and then the real problem here is that we have to post a bond equal to the amount of the claim against us. If the claim is $500,000, we have to post $500,000. Now, there are ways to do. You can hire people that post it for you, and you pay them a percentage, anywhere from 3 to 10%. It depends on what they feel their obligation may be if the appellate court doesn't rule in their favor. So there is a great danger here, and this is not to be taken lightly. This is very serious.
Now that amount really hasn't been set yet, so you really don't even know what you're dealing with as far as the bond that has to be posted.
No, and the other problem here is that the clock is running. I only have 30 days to post an appeal. So I have to find the $20,000 to the appeals lawyer, and then I have to give it. They have to do it, and they have to write the appeal and file it. In the interim, we don't even have a dollar figure what we have to come up with because Judge Scott was originally going to argue or have the discussion of how much award should be done for them for damages at Karen's trial, which was scheduled for May 9th. But Karen's trial now has been postponed because there's negotiations with Karen's attorneys and GI's attorneys. So I frankly don't know what this means at this point.
When would you get word of what the actual summary judgment amount would be? Did they give you any kind of time on that?
No. No, none at all.
Okay.
We're not apparently this judge is not a fan of Boresight. Obviously he's never seen the show, and more importantly, I don't think he's a fan of Yellow Rain. I think he finds that it's contemptible, just by maybe the name of it. I think that Judge Scott is a very straight guy and doesn't necessarily see the humor in life as some of us do, and consequently I think maybe he's a real capitalist at heart and thinks that we should all play by capitalist rules, and I just believe that's his concept at this point, because in reading his decision it's fairly strongly worded, and there are areas of it that seem to miss the point of what our argument was. And if you want, we can talk about that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Judge Scott, he's denied the validity of several points of your defense, one of them being your contention that those named in the suit had been working on so-called pirate chips before a copyright was issued for VC2's chips. Do you want to comment on that aspect?
There was never a discussion on that, at least as far as I know from the paperwork that was filed. What was said in our original answer, our only answer, was that in the case of bag of parts, or the concept of bag of parts and the blueprint of bag of parts and that whole thing had been available since before 1980. And our contention was that if everybody knew about it, it was a very common sync generator, and that if GI wanted security, or MACOM wanted security with their video, then they should have made a product that wasn't already being compromised by existing technology, because indeed it was. So it should have been their responsibility to make a product that was beyond the present technology, which they didn't. And so the way Judge Scott answered that doesn't seem to relate to our answer at all. I mean, I don't know where he's coming from on that remark.
You're saying the means to defeat the system was already widespread before they actually marketed the product.
In case of video, surely. I mean, yes, video by GI's own definition was never designed to be secure. The audio was designed to be secure, and so I just don't know how he could. He mentions a pirate chip in that remark, and there's no pirate chips in that situation at all. There's not a pirated product whatsoever. So I don't know where he came from on that.
Okay. He also says that your contention that even if the chips were infringing under United States law, the manufacturing, copying, and distribution of the chips to Canada and other countries does not violate the United States copyright law. Now, according to Judge Scott, that's not the case, and he also says there's a copyright violation under Canadian law. Were you aware of any of this?
As it turns out, the case in point which he points out, I'm very aware of, because he points out about the Macintosh Apple case. And in that particular case, as I understand it, first of all, that's before appeals right now. That was originally, it was decided in Macintosh's favor, which is a Canadian company, in the lower court, and it was turned over in the appeals court, and now it's back before the courts again. So there is no clear-cut decision on that. And if they wanted to look at it more clearly, the judge, he would find that in Australia, where a similar case to that particular case existed in Australia, the Australian High Court found in favor of the people that were being sued by Apple. So Apple lost the case in Australia, and more than likely will eventually lose the case in Canada. So that's the number one point. Number 2 point is, we're not even similar to that in that regard. We're not what our argument is that we're not taking and making a duplicate of the video cipher. We're taking, somebody buys the technology when they bought the video cipher, and all they're doing is, if they make changes to that software, in software law and computer law right now, as I understand it, you can make copies of that, and you can make changes to that, and that's all people have done. And so I don't think he addressed, I don't think we probably obviously argued the case well enough as to explain to him how this is not valid in the way that GI is presenting it. And that's simply it. And furthermore, it should be noted that, and I hope on Boresight you run this, you show what the deal with demo chip, which is what they're talking about in this particular case, is where we have the copyright problem, is what the deal with demo chip did. The deal with demo chip absolutely did nothing except help dealers sell satellite systems. So, and it helped General Instruments sell systems as well. And it helped everybody. And it never hurt anybody. And the fact that we're being sued for it is only because GI couldn't find anything else to sue us on. I mean, after they got finished with the original discovery of the case, they found that they didn't have a case against us, and they went grasping for straws. It should be looked at again and recognized again that the original things that GI was sued us for, the $5 million and all the charges against us, were totally changed in the final suit to sue us for bag of parts, which were never part of the original thing, which we had been doing a year before the original suit was brought against us, and dealer demo, which is another chip which we had done a year before the original suit was brought against us. So that if we really had a problem with those two items, gee, I would have gladly put them in the original lawsuit, and they never did, because they never felt we really had a problem with them. And after they got all done doing discovery, they found out they have to sue us for something. They can't look stupid. So they picked these two things, and the irony of it is they won, and I don't think they ever expected to win, and certainly we never expected them to win. I mean, we've spent a appreciable amount of money trying to...
Now, by singling out the dealer demo chip, you think they were taking an easy shot? Because this was something that, to my knowledge, was openly marketed. You did not feel that this was illegal or in violation of any copyright code. It was openly marketed. It was purchased as something that was not, quote unquote, a pirate. It was a tool, a sales tool. You think that was easy for them to go after that because they didn't have to go through all this other...
I really think the only reason that's in there is because of what I just mentioned earlier. It was the only shot they had. They knew there was a copyright problem on that chip. Now, again, that will be up to the appeals lawyer to argue that well enough to make the case on that part. And I'm not going to divulge what I believe the real case may be now. After hindsight, I've decided that we really have to work at this. I guess we didn't have enough money to defend ourselves properly. We didn't have enough money to go out and hire big-time attorneys. We hired a small attorney firm every time. I mean, we've been through a couple of attorneys. And in an effort to save money, we had we got rid of the Washington attorney. We got Florida counsel and the original Florida counsel. Mike, I don't think people realize the second Florida counsel we got took this case on contingency. That's how much